morning, everyone. I'm coming to you live from a very messy office on Sunday, September 30th. It's about 8 a.m. I'm recording this early because my husband is so very sweet, and he asked me, do I need to take Evan out of the house for you so you can record? So he's been very, I don't even know how to explain the word. He's very supportive of the idea of me podcasting, which is actually pretty adorable. So I appreciate that. So I have about half an hour. They're going to get donuts, and half an hour is perfect. That's exactly how long I'd like to go for today. I know that I talked a little bit too long on the first one. I do need to work on the rambling, and also as the first one, so there's a little bit more to do. I sound a little bit hoarse and throaty. Evan was sick this week, and while I didn't get his cold, apparently my throat did, so that's what's happening right now. So let's get into it. So to begin with, I am wearing my Beekeeper cardigan. I'm going to roll back, I'm going to stand up, I'll show it all to you. So hard. So I love this thing. It looks amazing. It blocked out amazing. You can see it's hitting me about mid-hip. I blocked the sleeves to be 3/4. When I wear my watch sits, they say the sleeves stop right before my wrist. It fits and it looks really great right here. So I'm actually really in love with this. My husband didn't quite get the fit because obviously if I was more into it, I could have put buttons in it, but then it becomes more fitted and that would look amazing too. But obviously it's not a pattern for buttons. But I love this. I love the yarn. On my big old messy desk here, I have my yarn ball. So I knit this in the Super Tarhi worsted. The color is Poupon. The dye is Blue Moon Fiber Arts. And I have, if I roll under my desk here, I have this giant ball of yarn left because it's, 450 yards in a ball. I had to hand wind all of my balls because it wouldn't fit on my ball winder. So I did hand wind all of them. Evan is now at the point that he wants to play with this ball of yarn. He keeps telling me that kitties love yarn, especially Pete the cat, because there's an episode, a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse episode, where one of the Mascatools is a ball of yarn to distract Pete the cat. So I'm probably going to knit a hat out of the remainder of this, whether it's for me or whether it's for somebody for Christmas. If I think I have somebody who would look good in this color. I'm not sure yet, but I definitely have enough to knit at least a hat, if not a hat and mitten set. Because I would say I probably only had to do maybe half the sleeve out of the ball. So I really love the put up. I love the way the yarn feels. It is Tarhi wool and silk blend. It grew like crazy when I blocked it. So even in my blocking swatch, I really didn't take that into account. So I knit to 15 inches. I think it blocked out just without me doing anything to about 20. When I blocked it, I only pinned the front band. I was very concerned with my pickups because I've only ever knit one other sweater that had a pickup front band. And that one was a big pickup roll collar shawl band, and it was also like 8 years ago. So I was really concerned about that because it looked really wobbly in the when it was washed and blocked. Also, man, was it heavy when it was full of water. It totally held a ton of water. The only thing I would do differently if I was to, next time I wash this, because obviously occasionally I'll have to wash it, is I might block out the sweaters to full length. So I wanted 3/4 sleeves. I knit the sleeves to 17, and obviously pre-block, that's about where they hit pre-block, right? It was right about there. It looked really good. I like that. Obviously with the growing, when it was out on the table, just measuring them out and patting it out, they were 20. And I know that my Kirigami sweater the sleeve lengths are about 20. So I stretched as much as I could to keep the length. I tried to bring it back up to 17 maybe, and I think I got to 18 and a half, and it's just almost at that in between where if I was really cold I could pull them down, but they'd kind of ride back up a little bit. So that just depends. And then maybe I would do it and heat it and block it back to what I did. So, but this is my first finished object. and I love it, so I'm really excited. I can't wait for next year's sweater. It's definitely not going to take me 4 days. It's going to take me a month. Definitely at least a month. I started this in October. I'm sorry, I started this in August, finished this right after vacation. And when we left for Hawaii, all I had left was that one sleeve. So, but I'm very excited. I love this sweater. So, I can't wait to get a lot of wear out of it this winter. I think it's going to be perfect for layering and going to the office and stuff. My second finished object are my Afterthought heel socks. So pretty much my vanilla sock pattern that I use by Susan B. Anderson. I knit these out of Mud Punch yarns. I also haven't woven in any of my ends for anything that I finished lately because I wanted to knit. I didn't want to finish. So, I mean, I finished these. But I'll probably end up weaving the ends in tonight. We'll probably while we watch football. So I love this yarn is Mud Punch yarn. I talked about it last week. I know she's at Knit City in Vancouver this weekend. She's in Holly Yo's booth, and one year I really hope I can get up there to Knit City because it looks amazing, and it's on the West Coast. So for me, like I'm never gonna go to Rhinebeck. I wanted to go to Rhinebeck since I started knitting in like 2000, 2001, like those first couple of years. Obviously Rhinebeck was all over the blogs and stuff. I would love to go to Rhinebeck. I'm never gonna go to Rhinebeck. I'm never gonna go unless somehow magically I'm over there for something else at the same time. I fly to the West Coast or the East Coast for work twice a year, and I'm not a fan. 3 times a year. I go to Chicago twice a year and then Florida once. And while I like flying and stuff, I'm not a huge fan of the whole distance thing. So, but Vancouver is just straight north. I mean, I could drive to Vancouver because I live off of I-5, which for those of you who've never been into California, I-5 is our interstates that runs literally from the southern border, Mexico. You could take I-5 and go into Mexico. You can drive all the way up the state of California, drive all the way through Oregon and Washington, and drive all the way into Canada. So, I mean, I could drive there. But the furthest I've been up I-5 is up into Oregon for a car show. So anyway, so I finished these socks. They fit my basic recipe. I use a Susan B. Anderson smooth operator sock pattern. But then I just tweak it a little bit to make it my own. So because Mud Punch is striped, I always rib for two color bands of stripe. Oh, actually, why am I showing you this one? Actually, I have one on a sock blocker, even though I haven't blocked it. So I always knit my ribbing for 2 colors, for 2 inches of this stripe. I wait and I go 6 inches, and then I mark my Afterthought heel. Excuse me. And then I go 6.5 inches. And I do my toe, and then I come back and do my heels. So because I've knit this pattern, I think this is my 4th time with the Afterthought heel. It's my 3rd stripe. I'm loving it. Chantel, I love your yarns. Do what you need to do so you can keep making us these amazing yarns. Totally get it. But since I've knit it a couple times, I know how long my foot needs to be before to account for the heel. So I don't. I always knit the heel afterwards, so especially because I knit 2 at a time. So I put the heel stitches in, I finish, I do the toes. I do the toes, and I still, when I pick them back up, I do the heels 2 at a time still too, because it's just easier for me. But I do think I'm going to take a break from this sock pattern for a little bit. I have a couple of other patterns in my queue on Ravelry. I can knit the heel flap socks. I can knit those 2 at a time too. So there's a couple of other patterns I want to try. For me, my Mud Punch is like my casual. I need socks to wear to work yarn because I do. I wear these. Excuse me, year round. I wear these socks, and I wear them in my work shoes. I wear a pair of Merrells that I can fit the socks in. That if I have to wear pants and socks, I prefer to wear hand knit socks because why not? So I finished these. Tuesday or Wednesday. I'd have to look at my Ravelry worker. But I was pretty excited, so I finished these this weekend. And so I'm super into that. And then my surprise finish is a hat I cast on yesterday and finished yesterday because I finished the socks. And the next big project I want to take on is the kids' sweaters. But I don't have any measurements for any of the kids yet, so I need something to knit yesterday. So I knit this, and this is a Christmas present. This is for my mom. This is the Mads hat by Jody Brown, Mrs. Brown's Bags, and I love it. And I don't know what I love more, the pattern or the yarn that I used. So here it is all caked up in the ball. I actually have, it's a really pretty mauvey color. It's like a mauve, dusty rose. And the color for sure reminds me of my mom. I'm pretty sure it's my mom's favorite color. I'm pretty sure this is the color she would have preferred her bedroom get painted when her and my dad redid their room and he picked out the pink color. I think this is the color she was thinking of and not the color he picked out, which is family drama. It was quite family drama. Let me see if I have the ball. Oh, there it is. So this yarn is the Swans Island certified organic merino wool. I bought it last year. So there's the ball band. I bought it last year during Jimmy Bean's Wool's Thanksgiving event, right? Their Black Friday event, the Wool Watcher deal, where all weekend killed my husband because literally all weekend I was watching and looking for yarn. But I'm actually almost done knitting with all of the yarn that I bought last year during Wool Watcher. Either I'm done knitting with it or I've got assigned projects for it. I have one ball of Lorna's laces that I haven't touched. But other than that, I've worked with everything. So I'm pretty excited. But so I have wet hair this morning. I just got out of the shower. But I like the hat. I love the way the wool feels. It's been a while since I worked with a worsted. Sorry, you can see I had my ends in. So I'll put the hat on. So it looks pretty nice, I think. I think it fits really well. The thing I love the most is that I do have enough yarn to make exactly another hat in the same size. So my mom and I will probably have matching hats. But I love how squishy it is. I'll be honest, the majority of my worsted knitting has been Cascade 220. Obviously, it's a workhorse yarn. I knit a lot of softies. I knit my Christmas and stockings and my Christmas ornaments out of it. I like the colors. I can get it at a local wool store. Like I don't have to. The Swans Island is not available, as far as I know, at my actual local. I can walk into the store tomorrow and this afternoon store. So I'm super stoked about the hat, though. I really love it. I weighed the wool. So this hat is less than 50 grams, and I have a little bit more than 50 grams. So not only do I have enough wool, but I have enough wool to do the cast on I did. So this one was a first for me. Even though the ribbing is twisted, I decided to do a tubular cast on. I saw some people talking about it. I had never done it, and I am looking for literally the stretchiest cast on especially for ribbing, but for my socks. So I have really big calves. So my biggest problem, the reason that I knit my socks at 6 inches is because if I knit them at 7 inches, while the yarn would stretch, right, the rest of it would stretch, the cast on is never stretched on enough to make it so that my leg did not get that weird pull in because the cast on's too tight, right? So I'm actually pretty stoked about this. I love how stretchy it is. It is definitely the stretchiest of all the cast ons. So I'm probably going to try it on my next pair of socks too. It didn't take me very long. I use, when I'm doing something new for techniques, I have a two-step process. I might watch a video, and if there's a video on it, my preference is probably going to be to find a VeryPink knits video. So, for example, she has a video on kitchen ear stitch that you do with the needle. You don't do with the darning needle. You do it with the knitting needle. I'll link that if I figure out how. But I use that as a reference. I usually watch about 10 seconds of it to remember how to start. But I cast off that way because my kitchen ear is always way too tight on toes. So I love that video. I always use VeryPink knits. But I have this super old school book. I mean, who else has this book? I've had this book in my library at least 10 years, 15 years, probably 15 years. So again, I've been knitting since 2000, 2001. I learned how to knit right after high school. And shout out to my mom, those first couple of years. Let's see when I published. So this book, the publishing date is 2002. So I probably got it 2002, 2003. Pretty sure my mom bought it for me. Shout out to my mom because half of the knitting tools I use right now, she gifted me the first Christmas that I was really a super big knitter because she didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I finally had like a hobby that was, I could give you a list of stuff to get aside from yarn and be like, cool, I want this, I want that. So she, my umbrella Swift, she picked out, she got for me. My ball winder, I think I might have purchased that myself. But she got me blocking mats that I never used because I had to make something and I never used it. She did buy me a bunch of yarn. Knit Picks was just hitting its stride back then. So one year I got the lace kit, which I really need to figure out what to do with because I got like 7 colors of lace. I think it's the alpaca lace that I have all that yarn in my stuff, so I gotta figure it out. So, but my mom really encouraged my knitting. She is kind of a knitter. She has knit. She knit me a sweater once. She's had a sweater that she was working on for my sister that she'll probably never finish. She was working on it when my dad had his first heart attack, and for her, she put the needles down, and I don't think she's knit since then. She has crocheted, so she does do that. She has crocheted all of the kids' Christmas stockings. So my Christmas stocking was crocheted. My brother's was sewn. My sister's was hand-bought, because that's how you got in the 80s. Like, you get less precious the more kids that come along. So my sister had found the crochet patterns for our Christmas stockings on, because my mom had always intended to make my sister the Christmas stocking, because there was a Santa and an elf. My sister had found the patterns on eBay, so she bought the patterns for my mom. And then she was supposed to finally crochet my sister's Christmas stocking. But then my sister had her first son. So instead, that first Christmas stocking became Ethan's. And then she crocheted Ellie's. And right now, on her road trip, she's been finishing Evan's. So the deal is that, like at my mom's house, if my mom was going to set up Christmas, everybody has a Christmas stocking at Grandma's house. And obviously everybody has their home Christmas stockings, but Grandma's got all the crocheted stockings. We did not take our Christmas stockings home with us. So my mom has my original Christmas stocking, and then I have, in our family, I'll show you probably in December when I unbox everything. I've knit Christmas stockings for me and Eric and Evan. And then at my mom's house, I have sewn Christmas stockings for Eric and Brett, my sisters, my spouses, and then if my brother ever gets married, I will make one for his wife. So that way, everybody always has stockings wherever they are. And we don't always fill the ones on my mom's. Those are just for decoration. But so during the month, when the kids come over and stuff, they see, oh yeah, Grandma has my stocking for me. So moving on to works in progress. Do I have anything? No. Not really. I have this super big gauge swatch. This is how I roll. So this is, I knit it Friday. That was my big knitting on Friday. So that's what I did Friday night. So I'm going to take this off. By the way, I love my knit blockers. I love that they're rainbow. And I'm probably asking for another set for Christmas. These are from Jimmy Beans because they're rainbow. And I think only Jimmy has the rainbows. So I really love those. But I knit my gauge swatch on Friday. For the sweaters. So for the kids' sweaters. Oh, and I found Ethan's. So in a moment, I'll show you the sweater itself. I'm sorry, Evan's sweater. Classic mom, getting the wrong name. So I knit the swatch on Friday, and I went and I swatched with 3 needle sizes because one, I wanted to see how this yarn, what this yarn actually did after blocking. Because I'll be honest, this will not be my first rodeo with vintage GK. I like the way it knits up. However, in the beginning of the year, I knit some hats for my sister and for my niece. I was trying to make them matching hats, and I didn't do a gauge swatch because it was a hat. I'm like, oh, it could be its own gauge swatch. But the hats were like way too short, so I'm not sure if it was my gauge was really wildly off or if the hat pattern just wasn't there, because I didn't even get, so this hat 8.5 inches, I believe, from cast on to the top, which is pretty perfect. That's if you're not rolling a brem, that's for us, for me, for my giant noggin, that's the right size. So I think maybe it came off the hat and the vintage DK came off in maybe 6 inches, because it just felt like it was gonna pop off your head. So I knit, so that's why I knit in 3, because I also know I have another ball of this purple, because it's purple from Jimmy Bean. So, and I'm probably going to knit mittens or something, and I might have to go down a needle size now that I know that. So this is the DK, obviously, vintage DK. And so I did 6, 7, and 8 broken by twisted rib. I really didn't have to block it out much. Like, I didn't have to pin it out, honestly. I know that this sweater is essentially wash and wear. When I make it, I blocked it. I didn't stretch it out when I blocked it, because I know that with the acrylic content, it's not going to keep its blocking. So really, I just pinned it so it wouldn't roll. And I'll probably pin it a little bit longer, or pin it again in a way so I get my handy ruler in so I can measure gauge, and just to make sure I'm going the right size. I think I'm going to end up knitting on the 7s. I think that's going to hit the gauge I want, but I'm glad to have all of it together. It's just so that if I see a different pattern, I'm like, oh, that would be great for the kids. I already know my gauge in vintage DK. Because that is probably going to be my go-to workhorse yarn for the kids for right now, because you can wash it, because it's wool and acrylic, it's not going to be too warm, it's not going to be too itchy. The kids will probably really like it. And then just as a refresher, because I found it in the closet when I was cleaning up and doing other stuff, this is the sweater I will be knitting. So this is the Maya sweater. This is Evan's. And it fits him, and he's so cute, because I was laying out on my desk yesterday, and he comes up to me and he says, "Can I wear my sweater?" And I hit 100 this week, so it's really too hot. I'm gonna have to take this off as soon as I'm done, just because it'll be warm enough at that point. And so I said no, and he goes, "But it's not itchy anymore." And I was like, good, because I don't want it to be itchy. I do think he'll obviously wear it behind with a t-shirt under it. But I like it. It is very unisex, so I don't think it looks girly for him, because it's in this green color. I would literally knit him whatever color he wants, whether it's girly or not. So that's how I roll as a parent. He can be whoever he wants. He loves being Owlette. They went to go get donuts. He's in his Owlette costume right now. For those of you who don't know, Owlette is a PJ Masks character who is a girl, but she's a superhero and she flies. So for him, he likes that she's a superhero and she flies. And he does take his turn between pretending to be whatever superhero. He pretends to be all of them. He'll pretend to be Gecko, he'll pretend to be Catboy, he'll pretend to be Owlette. It just depends on whatever special what he wants a special power to be. So sometimes he wants to be Catboy, he wants super cat speed. But he always comes back to Owlette because she flies. So he does like, I think she's his favorite just because she does fly. But again, like, if he asked me for a dress, I would buy him a dress. He's a little kid. It's not whether he's a boy or a girl. He's just exercising his imagination. So he doesn't always. Sometimes he'll say stuff, and I'll think, oh, yeah, that's pretty sexist. But mostly it's his number one friend who is a girl is his cousin Ellie. So if he sees something really girly or pink, it's always hard to be like, is it because he thinks those are girl stuff, or is it because he knows that that's what Ellie likes? Because he also likes pink stuff. He likes girly stuff. He loves to play dress up with whatever dress up it is. And I am trying to raise him to not think of stuff as being boy stuff or girl stuff. It's just stuff. So, and you can like whatever you like. So, that's my parenting philosophy, now that we've gone off track. So, that's what I have for you guys today. So I knit. My plan is this afternoon. So Evan and Eric will be home soon. And we have a play date. So we're going to go see a friend from high school, one of my friends from high school. She has a son who is 6 months older than Evan. So we're going to go and play today over there, and then we'll come home, we'll pretend to take naps and not take naps because we don't do those anymore at home, even though we try. We have quiet time instead. Yesterday I did trick him into a nap. It was amazing. And then tonight we are going to go visit our best friends, and their son James is having a birthday midweek, and they're actually... I didn't finish that hat I talked about last week. I didn't finish my ephemeris hat for Heather. So she's going to be cold in Canada. So super sorry, Heather. But I probably still have 3 more inches to go. And I knit on this other hat for my mom because I wanted to start on Christmas knitting, and 2, because I wanted something with big needles. I wanted to feel like I accomplished something. Much as I like that other hat, it doesn't feel like I'm accomplishing anything when I knit on it sometimes. So tonight, while we're there, I will be measuring James and Matthew for their sweaters, and I'm going to take the green one so that James can try it on, because Heather likes oversized clothes on the boys. She likes to feel like they can really grow into them. So I might end up, even though James is 6 months younger, I might end up knitting the exact same size, depending on how Heather feels about how that sweater looks on him. So that's my plan, and then I will start on one of the boys' sweaters probably Monday after work. So I have my gauge swatch. I'll figure out which needle that is that I need to work with. I wound all the balls into cakes, so I'm ready to go, and that's what's happening today. I do think podcast-wise I'll be trying to podcast every 2 weeks so that I have at least one thing to show you, and then I think I can definitely stick into the half an hour time slot. And so next weekend is the Lambtown Festival, which happens in Dixon, California, and I went to that with my mom once, I think maybe 10-12 years ago. There weren't a lot of yarn vendors at that time. Last time we went, I did pick up some fleece, some pre-dyed fleece that I've never knit on, that I've never spun, because I wanted to learn how to spin. And I do have a drop spindle that I've just moved house with me 4 times, but I've never really learned how to use and feel efficient on. That would only ever be a dabbling hobby. I'm never going to make enough yarn to make myself happy with it, but it was something I wanted to try, and I still am hauling that stuff around. But I am looking forward to next weekend. Eric's going to go with me. I'm apparently going to meet his coworker who's a big knitter. Evan's going to ride a sheep because they do sheep riding competitions, like bull riding competitions. So that'll be fun. Also, hopefully I'll have some video of that for you guys. And there should be a lot of vendors. So there's the vendor list is really long. And there is a lot of vendors. There's a lot of people I follow on Instagram that turns out they're going to be there. So I'm actually really excited because I really want to get more into what's local here in California, and especially what's local here in Northern California, because there's a ton. So Invictus Yarns is going to be there. They're new to me. Chicken Boots, who they sell a bunch of they do sell some of their bags on Jimmy Beans, if you've seen those, but she's gonna have a full booth, so I'm hoping to pick up maybe a new project bag, because I really I've been interested in her stuff, but I wanted to see it in person to decide on the right thing, so I'm looking forward to that. And just the amount of yarns, I've been saving some money, and I might pick up a sweater's quantity for myself of something, or just a couple skeins of fingering weight, because you can't go wrong with that. So that's what's going on. That's what's happened this week. Thank you so much for coming and joining me as I learn and I grow in this podcasting. Hopefully I'm loud enough. I do appreciate any comments, any suggestions. If you like the video, that will make my heart really happy, seeing those during the in-between, because they pop up on the screen when I'm in Google Chrome. So like if I'm at work, I'll see the pop-up because I'll be doing something else, and so it'll be like, oh, somebody subscribed and I love it. So thank you for spending a half an hour or, you know, a little bit longer, a couple minutes longer with me. I know that there are a zillion podcasters out there. I try to watch some of them myself, so I do appreciate everybody who joins me. If you want, because I would love more comments just, you know, to hear stuff, let me know what you guys are knitting for Christmas and what your plans are. I've started talking about that and knitting some of my stuff. And next week or the next podcast, I should have a little bit more, and I'll share my overall list with everybody. But I'd love to see what everybody is planning for Christmas, and how much they're planning on knitting, and if they even think it's realistic, because sometimes it's not, just because we love so many people. So I would love to hear that. If you wanted to drop a comment down below, I would love to see what you're knitting, and we can all talk about that. So have a great 2 weeks. I will see you soon. Well, it'll be middle of October, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. All right, thanks everybody. Goodbye.